Hello stamping friends, it's Angie here with Too Cool Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I would love to be your demonstrator if you do not already have one. I am so excited for today's class. It's another really pretty card class that you're not going to be able to resist. It is the hand-penned Petals bundle and the hand-penned Petals designer series paper, which is gorgeous. I have loved it ever since it came out in the new annual catalog, and I've been really eager to use it, but I've been like, I don't even know where to begin because there's so many things that you could do with it. So pretty. So before we get started today, I wanted to let you know we will be having two different class kits for today's class. One will be the 5 cards that I demonstrate, and then I'll have another that you can earn by spending just a little bit more and getting all 10 cards that you'll see during this class. So that is, I'll give you more information as we get started. But before we get to that, just a few updates on things happening. Have you seen today is free shipping day? That's really super exciting. It's just today, June 24th, and it's just one day, 24 hours. So make sure that you get your orders in and make sure that you use the host code that I have posted on my Facebook page, and I'll post on the details for this video as soon as I'm done. And I'll give you that when I flip the camera around. But you'll want to make sure you use that so you get your free kit along with your order. You just need to place a minimum $50 order anytime today and you'll get free shipping on that. So that is spectacular. They don't do it very often, and it's just a little flash sale that came up kind of out of the blue, but we're always excited to have free shipping. So make sure that you get your orders in today. And it lasts until 11:59 Mountain Time. So if you're here in my area in the Eastern Time Zone, that'll be 1:59 a.m. that you have to get your orders in for that free shipping. Okay, also a couple other reminders. We're getting to the last part of June, and June 30th is the last day for the mini catalog. Many of the items have carried over into the annual catalog, and you've already seen that. But the ones that are retiring will be gone for good as of after June 30th. So you'll want to make sure that you get your orders in for that. There's just a handful that are already sold out, and they are all while supplies last, those retired items. You can go to my website, toocoolstamping.com, and print out a list of all the retired items, including some of them that have some discounted pricing. So if you've already maybe placed an order, do a double check, make sure you're going to get everything that you want before those items are gone for good. And then just a little kind of a little sneak peek announcement, just because I want to let you guys know what's going to be coming up, so that if you do place an order today, you know what is coming next week. Next week, beginning on July 1st, Stampin' Up! Will be having a special designer series paper promotion. It will be 15% off select papers from the annual catalog. So that's always a great time to really stock up on all your favorite papers, and you're going to want to get the hand-penned paper because it is beautiful. But I just want to let you know about that, so that if you did want to order some paper, next week might be a good time to do that. Not that you want to put it off, because you get free shipping today, so you can save both ways. But I wanted to let you know so that you can start getting your wish list ready and start putting your paper list together for July 1st. So that will happen, and that will be for the month of July. It lasts through August 2nd, I believe. So you'll see more information as we get closer to that date, and you can find that all on my website, toocoolstamping.com. Okay, let's flip the camera around. I see there's lots of people here already, and I'm so glad that you're joining me again today. We're going to flip the camera around and start working on our hand-penned petals. I forgot to plug in my phone. I need to do that because I don't want to run out of juice. And we'll flip everything around. So hold on. Okay, whoops, hold on again. Not quite there. Get everything all secured. Okay, that looks good. let's get our host code here. So up here I have the host code for this class, and it's the hand-penned Petals suite, and it is FCPF47FQ, and you have a choice of 2 class kits. If you place a minimum $35 order, you can get that 5-card class kit. That'll be all the cards that I'm actually demonstrating today. And then if you place a minimum $75 order, you can receive all 10 cards that I'm going to show you. I usually show 2 cool versions of every card that I do, and you'll be able to get all of the supplies to create all 10 cards that you see today on your own. You just have to add your stamps, inks, and adhesives. All right, let's just do a quick introduction here to what we're going to be using from the hand-penned suite. And we're going to start out with the hand-penned Petals stamp set, a really beautiful stamp set. As the title suggests, they kind of look like sketched flowers, and there's some 2-step fills that you can complete the look of the flowers, and they're also beautiful for coloring with Stampin Blends markers, the Stampin Write markers. You can do some sponging on them. They're beautiful for embossing. All kinds of ways that you can use these really pretty images, and some really pretty fonts as well for the sentiments. Then we have some coordinating dies. These are the penned Petals dies, and they have outlined dies here so that you can cut these larger floral images out. There's also an intricate floral that goes along with that, a bunch of little flowers, and some leaves and some other accents that you can use as well. So lots of really pretty images and layers that you can create with this die set. Then my favorite part of this particular suite is the paper. The hand-penned Designer Series paper is absolutely gorgeous. And remember, the artists at Stampin' Up! Actually create all of this with watercolor and pens, and they do a little bit of digital correction to make sure all of the colors match perfectly with our color families. But everything is actually a piece of artwork. I've seen the actual original artworks for a lot of these papers that they create, and it's just absolutely amazing. So these are so beautiful, and beautiful colors too. So here's the first one. You have yellow on the background. There's always a coordinating paper. Let's just look at these. And purple on the background, the Highland Heather. Just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous colors. A little pale papaya polka dots. This one even has some cinnamon cider in it. Beautiful stripes. Just absolutely gorgeous. I wish I could have used every paper for this class kit, but I just didn't have enough room to do all the different things I wanted to do with it. But you definitely need to have this on your list because it is gorgeous. So this is the hand-penned Designer Series paper with this suite. And then the other thing in the suite are the Genial Gems. Let me take this out so you can see it a little bit better without a glare. These are really pretty. They come in the pale papaya and soft succulent, and they have a little bit of an iridescence to them, and faceted, and just really, really pretty. So those go with the paper beautifully. So that is our suite that we'll be working with today. And I'm just gonna jump right in with our first card. Like I said, we're gonna show you how to do some coloring in a couple of different ways and how you can color these beautiful images in. So we'll start out with, and I have a piercing mat here. This is a photopolymer stamp set, so I like to have that down as a little cushion. It allows us to transfer the ink from the stamp really easily. We're going to start out with Pool Party for our card base for the first one, and it's just a traditional 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then next, I have a piece here of So Saffron, and it's already been textured with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. This is a must-have. It's kind of a classic pattern. This is 3 by 4 1/4. And then We also have a little piece here of the hand pen designer series paper. We're gonna stamp on this side. This is a 3x2 piece of paper, and we're just gonna add a little sentiment before we, and I forgot one thing that is so super important, and that is my Memento Black Ink. There's always something that I miss. Hold on one second, I gotta find that real quick. Yeah, I won't be getting too far if I don't have that, because it's used on every single card. So, all right, first we're gonna stamp our thanks on the bottom of the designer series paper. We don't do that very often, actually stamp on the pretty paper, but we're gonna add that. And then we will adhere that to the bottom of our So Saffron textured piece. And we'll start adding some layers onto our card. So this is a 3 3/4 by 5-inch piece of basic white, and that's going to be kind of a matte layer, a frame around our focal point. Next, we'll put this layer on. Right in the center. And then I'm going to add just a little strip of ribbon in the middle. And so I think we're going to use this gold shimmer. I love this ribbon. And I'm going to add some adhesive right onto the ribbon. I don't do that very often either, but just want that to stick down. If you wanted to use some Tombow glue, that's probably the best way to do it, but I want to save some time. But this glue is really good for that type of thing. You just put a little line of that down. Snip the ends off at a little diagonal. All right, there is our background. Now let's work on those beautiful flower images. So here is just a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to start out with the larger of the two floral images. We'll add some Memento Black Ink, because we're going to do some coloring with Stampin' Blends. These are so perfect for coloring, and you could use all kinds of ways. You could do watercolor pencils, you could do Stampin' Write markers, but I love the Stampin' Blends. Those are my favorites. Isn't that a beautiful, beautiful image? Okay, we're going to add some color here. And we're going to keep with the theme of pool party and So Saffron. So I'm just going to use the brush tip end of the light pool party marker and quickly color in very lightly, just painting on the color. You don't want to push really hard on the nib. Just paint that color on. The brush tip end is great for adding color quickly in large areas. And the thing that's kind of unique about these images, they're not closed. The outlines are kind of open, so you kind of have to finish off the image just a little bit with your color. When you're trying to color inside the lines and the lines just aren't there, well, you just have to make them up. So those are our pretty flowers. Then I'm going to add the dark. We're going to do just a little bit of shading, and I'm pretty much just going to go right over the lines that are already there. Just add a little bit of shading right to the center of the flower. And I'm not even going to do any blending or anything. I'm just going to add this dark and let it go at that. Then we have some light old olive we're going to do for the leaves. Again, we'll just brush on that color, kind of finish off the leaf, even though it might not have a line there. And you can see that brush tip end just allows you to add the color really quickly. You don't need to spend a lot of time. And we'll add a little bit of shading with the dark. Again, just by going over the lines that are already there in the middle where the veins are. And then with our Daffodil Delight, we'll add a little bit of pop of color right to the centers of all of our flowers. And that should do it. Now, I'm going to use the Penned Petals die. Like I said, it has some beautiful outline dies, so I can just cut that out, and I've already done that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I have this one ready to go. I'm going to just pop that up and finish that card off. So pretty. You got to kind of put a lot of dimensionals on there. So here, we'll just put that right in the center there. And then we'll finish up, excuse me. First of all, we're going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella. I am loving the Wink of Stella. Well, I love Wink of Stella anyway, as you probably know already. But I'm loving it with this hand-penned Petals stamp set, because just a little touch on the inside just really makes things pop. And then I'll add a couple of genial gems, and I'm going to use the soft succulent ones. I love how these colors can be kind of used with a lot of different colors. These are actually pale papaya, but if you wanted to use them, they're pretty close to So Saffron. And so you can really kind of stretch them. They almost have a pool party look, or they could kind of go with the pear pizzazz for these, even though they're technically the soft succulent. They would go with mint macaron, they would go with soft sea foam. So you can get a lot of use out of these pretty gems. And these are the genial gems. So this is our first card. It really was very, you know, it takes a little time for the coloring, but very simple card, but very, very pretty. Now, I had a second Too Cool card, and this one is actually, oh, now I forget who did it. Oh, I'll have to put it on my blog. I forgot who did it, but this is actually a swap card that I received, and I loved it. I wanted to just case this. Well, I did case it. I wanted to just copy it exactly because I actually love the purple and the soft succulent so much better than the others, but I love this too. Anyway, this is Fresh Freesia. We use the same gold shimmer over the soft succulent background, a different pattern from the hand-penned Designer Series paper. We use the lighter genial gems, and then all the flowers are colored with Fresh Freesia, soft succulent, and the pale papaya. So I'll have to find out who did this. I cannot remember, and it's not on the card. So I'll find out who did it, and I will put it on my blog because I absolutely love, love, love that card. So as I mentioned earlier, your 5-card kit with a $35 order, you're going to get this. And then if you get the 10-card kit, you'll get the supplies to make both cards. All right. Let's go ahead with the second card. We're starting with thick basic white this time, and it's a little bit shorter than average. It is 5.5 by 7.5 this time, scored at 4 1/4. I've been doing a lot of these cards with the kind of a shortened card front. I just really, really like how they look. Gives a little dimension. So I have a 1 inch by 5 1/4 that I'm going to put on the inside of the card with that really pretty, this is actually a Highland Heather pattern. So that will show. And then you guys look at this. Have you seen the Pretty Flowers embossing folder? Talk about gorgeous. This is a brand new folder in the annual catalog, and I just love it so much. This is the first time I used it, and it is absolutely beautiful. I love the emboss side, but even the deboss side is really, really pretty. We're going to use the emboss side, and this is on a 3 by 5¼ inch piece of Highland Heather. Add that to our card front. Now this time I have another piece of scrap paper. We're going to try the other floral. Ink that up with some Memento Black. And then this time, I have some different colors here. Some fresh freesia. If we wanted to, we could do the Highland Heather, but I wanted just a little bit different purple. So we're going to color that, the blooms, with fresh freesia. It's kind of a purple, it's kind of a mix in between purple and pink. Really pretty. Every time I use it, I love it even more. So again, just using that light color, using the brush tip end, painting it on really lightly. And filling in that color pretty quickly with that brush tip end. All right, we're going to use the dark to just add just a little hint of shading. And as you can see, I'm not taking much time at all. You don't have to be fancy. I'm not even going to do any blending. I'm going to just kind of leave it, have those brush strokes on there. Then we're going to add soft succulent for the leaves. Just using the very tip to get that little thin stem. If you use the bullet tip end, that is also a good way you can get just right in the center of that stem. And then again, we're going to add the dark, just right on the veining, just add a little hint of shade for that. We'll finish up with Pale Papaya Dark for our center, little pop. Okay. And again, you might want to put some Wink of Stella. You could do it over all of the whole flower if you wanted to. This time, you're going to use this other outline. Fits perfectly over that. You'll run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I have already done that. So this is our last piece. I didn't add any Wink of Stella, so I'm gonna add just a little bit. Actually, I think I'm gonna do it over all of the whole flower. Go crazy on it. Beautiful. Can you see that shimmer? Hopefully that shows up in the camera a little bit. Really pretty. All right, so to finish this card, I have the largest layering circles die cut in the basic white. That's going to go on top of this so it'll pop, and we'll add a little sentiment. This one says, "Feel better, friend." We're just going to add that right at the bottom, and this will go kind of by it. There we go. It'll go about like that. But first, let's add some ribbon. I'm going to add some ribbon coming out of the side here. It's the beautiful, sparkly Highland Heather grosgrain ribbon. And I'm just going to put a little bit of seal there and fold this. This is going to go right over here, so I want this to come out over on the edge here. And I'm going to wait and trim that until after and I'm also going to cut that so it lays a little bit flatter. I might cut some extra off here. but we'll wait to trim the ends until we get it put in place so we know exactly how long it's going to be. Now I want this to overlap and open, so I don't want to have any dimensionals or any seal or anything right there. So be careful when you're putting seal on for that ribbon. You only want to put it on that one side. And then we're going to do a little 180 flip, and then we can add the dimensionals exactly where we want them, so we know we're not going to be sticking it closed. And then we'll add that about right there. Make sure we're good. Yep, don't see any dimensionals there. We can trim these off now exactly where we want them. And then we'll pop this up as well. So add a bunch of dimensionals here. I like to have a dimensional on each leaf. And that should be good. And the dimensionals go flying, the dimensional backings. And then we'll just add this right to the top. So it's a little bit on the circle and a little bit popping out of the circle like that. So pretty. So this is our card. Oh, we got to add some bling. You know we totally do. I have some champagne rhinestones here. And we'll add a few of those. Goes with the pale papaya so well. So this is just an alternative. You could put the genial gems, would look beautiful on here as well, but it shows you that you can use those champagne rhinestones as well. So here is the card for our 5-card kit. Plenty of room for a message on the inside. You can decorate with more of the flowers on the inside if you want to. And then this also is a swap card that I received. I did have the name on the back of this one. This is Gwen Duckworth. I loved her card as well. She used the Pale Papaya polka dots, a different embossing folder. I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but it just has some leaves here on the side. And she also added a little Pale Papaya open weave ribbon on hers. And of course, colored it in with Pale Papaya and the soft succulent. So I loved her card. So her card will be available as part of the 10-card class kit. So thank you, Gwen, for your inspiration. All right, on to card 3. We're back with another pool party card. Again, just a traditional 5.5 by 8.5 score at 4 1/4. This one's going to be horizontal, and it'll start with a piece of the hand-penned Petals paper, and this is a 5.5 by 2.5, I believe. Yes, 2.5. So we'll add that right across the top. I also have a little strip here of the Misty Moonlight. This is a 5.5 by 1/2 strip. And we'll add that right underneath here, just kind of overlapping just a little bit. And then let's start working on our focal point. So again, we're going to use the larger flowers this time. The larger floral image. And this time, instead of Stampin' Blends, we're going to use the 2-step stamps that are in the stamp set. So you can see how easily you can fill in that color. So that's our Memento Black stamped image. And this is a piece, this is actually the piece you're going to use. It's not scrap. So this is 2 3/4 by 3.5. And let's start filling in this color. We're going to use lots of different colors here. Blushing Bride, Pool Party, Misty Moonlight, and So Saffron. Whoops. So let's start with our Blushing Bride. And I am going to do just some stamping off. The colors on here are so light and watercolory that you could use a full strength, but if you stamp off, I think it looks just a little bit better. That's your choice. So I'm going to stamp off in Blushing Bride and then stamp onto the flower. That's actually really, really light. I probably need to ink my ink pad just a little bit. So that's one. Next, let's do some Pool Party. And there's flowers for each one of these, for each one of the different sizes. This might be okay at full strength. There we go. So there's one size of flower. And then there's a little bit smaller one that we can put in this one. And you'll notice when you add the two-step stamp, you're not getting full coverage. That's all on purpose. It's designed to be just kind of open and flowing, and so you don't need to be perfect about anything. It just adds a little splotch of color. Okay, next we're gonna do, let's do the other flowers in So Saffron. This is there's a pair of flowers, and those go together. Stamping off. And then we'll fill the leaves in with Misty Moonlight. And you'll definitely want to stamp off on those. So I have two leaf sizes, a small one, and then on the other side of this block I have a large one. Whoops. Stamp off. And they fit really nicely. And they actually fit upside down. I mean, you can't go wrong. Oops, I guess there's only two of the big ones. I'm going to clean this up because I know we're going to use it for some other cards too. So use my chamois for that. And then I'll use the small one, stamp off, and add those as well. You can see how quickly this comes together. The hardest part of this one is just determining what colors you're going to use. Once you have the colors, the stamps do all of the heavy lifting. All right, how do you like that? So that is, and look how perfectly it matches that paper. I just love how that comes together. We're gonna add a little piece here. This is also it's a 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. And we're going to just add this to the back of this piece. And this piece we're going to attach with seal. So let me get some of that on the back. Hey, do I have some ink on my fingers? It's all over my card. Let me wipe that off real quick and make sure I'm not going to have any on the front of the card. All right. So I'm just going to kind of position this so that I know about where I'm going to want it. About right here. And that is that layer. Then we're going to pop this layer up over the top. So we put those together just to kind of position where that Blushing Bride layer was going to go. And we'll add this over the top. And this is a card that was inspired by Connie Babbert. I did it kind of horizontally and just a little bit different than hers, but I loved how she did hers. And let's see, we're going to add a different sentiment this time. This time, anything is possible. And we're going to stamp it on So Saffron. Just a little scrap. And then we'll punch it out with this double oval punch. Excuse me. And this is going to go right here on the side. So I want a little bit of seal on this side and a dimensional on this side to pop it up. Kind of do an overlap. Anything is possible. We're going to finish up with just a little tiny, just like this other card that, where was it? Just like this one had just a little bow on it. I liked how Gwen did that. So I have a little pool party sheer ribbon that I just tied in a knot. And we'll use, if I can find my glue dots. Here we go. I'm just going to put a glue dot, put it on a glue dot. And while it's there and it's all stuck, I'm just going to trim that a little bit shorter. And we'll add that to our card front, just for a little bit of extra texture. So here is our card for the 5-card kit. I love that look. Beautiful colors. And then I did a different card for my Too Cool version. This one starts with Soft Succulent. I added Mint Macaron, a different pattern of the hand-penned Designer Series paper. Highland Heather for the background, and then I used the different floral image for that. It has the same kind of coordinating flowers that you can use, and then you use those same leaves. I added the Soft Succulent little bow there, and a thanks this time, and did it kind of in an opposite layout. So you'll get this card in your 5-card kit, and you'll get both in your 10-card class kit. All right, moving right along, we're going to try Pale Papaya as our card base this time. And another beautiful paper from the hand penned collection. This is a 4 by 5 1/4. It was so hard to figure out which papers I was going to feature. I wanted to feature everything. That's why I offered the 10-card class kit as well, because I wanted you to really see a lot of the different papers and the different combinations. All right. Now we have a strip of Misty Moonlight. This is 1.5 by 4 1/4. We're going to add that right down the center. Kind of a little foundation for our focal point. There we go. And then this time, excuse me, I have a basic white die cut. This is from the Hippo and Friends dies. I know I tell you this every time, but you definitely want the Hippo and Friends dies. It goes with the hippos, whether you like them or not. It has lots of really cute labels and fun shapes. So this is one that I really like. So that's going to be kind of our background focal point. And then we're going to add some flowers on top of that. So this time we're going to once again do the 2-step stamping. We're going to use the other floral image. You can see how that's done. And this one starts with Pale Papaya. You could stamp off on that if you want that to be a little bit lighter. And then we're going to do Highland Heather for the other flower. Let me find that one. That's this one. I had Pool Party before. Let's just clean that real quick on my chamois. This one I am going to stamp off because it's pretty dark. So there is our Highland Heather. And then we'll do Soft Succulent for our leaves. Let's clean those up. They had Misty Moonlight before. We want them to be a different color. So we'll do Soft Succulent. Again, if you wanted to stamp off, you could do that. And let's see, I think that's another big one. So quick and easy. And then we do have that stem. So let's add just a little bit of soft succulent. And because everything is so flowing and there's a lot of white spaces around there, you don't want to color in all the way. Just put a little hint of color. Add the stems and you're good to go. How fast is that? Super, super quick. I have it already die cut and ready to go. So we're going to add that. Let's use some seal and add this to our background. Again, we're going to pop this up. Really make that shine. Really highlight that beautiful, beautiful image. And we'll finish up with another Anything is Possible in Memento Black. And I just have a 2 1/4 by 5/8 inch piece of white. And I'm just going to fishtail cut the ends of this. So we'll go up the center just a little tiny bit, maybe not quite 1/4 inch. But as far as you want to go. And then do corner to center. And again, we're going to pop that up. I'm running out of dimensionals. I'll have to show you how to use the edge. We'll add this right underneath. And we'll finish up with a few of the champagne rhinestones. Just a little hint of sparkle down here. And of course, we need to kind of play off of that sparkle and add a little bit of Wink of Stella. And I'm going to add it over all of the whole flower. And even the leaves. I want everything to shine. So hopefully you can see that Wink of Stella really there we go. Really looks pretty. It plays off of that champagne rhinestones. So this will be with your 5-card kit. And then I did another version, this time with some pretty greens. I used just jade, mint macaron for the strip in the middle. We used the other flowers, and for that we used jade, pale papaya, and flirty flamingo. And I think I have the flirty flamingo stamped off, and I'm not sure about the just jade. It probably is too. And this time I put the rhinestones up by the flowers just to have a different look there. So this will be included in your 10-card kit. You'll get both of those. All right, we have one more card, you guys. This one's a little bit different. I wanted to show you the die cuts. And there's lots of die cuts. I couldn't get to them all. But I wanted to show you the main one because this is really pretty as well. So this one starts out with Misty Moonlight for our card base. And this time, we're going to show you how to do a little background. And for this, I think I'm going to use my paper here. I think we're done with that memento. I'm going to use this paper as over the top of my piercing mat. That way I can go off of the edge and not get it all over my piercing mat. So we're going to use the large floral. We're going to use Misty Moonlight. And we're going to create a fun background. So this is not the focal point. We're just going to kind of, I stamped in the middle, and then we're going to kind of add some different edges here to fill in. They can overlap a little bit if they need to, but we just want to fill them all in. One more little area. There we go. Isn't that beautiful just the way it is? That's such a pretty background. You could do that in any color. You could do it in a nice subtle color, and it'd make a beautiful background for any card. All right, we're going to add this. I don't think I told you the measurements. This is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. We're going to add that to a 3 3/8 by 4 5/8 piece of just jade. Whoops. See, I don't know where my mat is underneath. I can take that out now. All right, let's take this out so I can see where I'm stamping. There we go. Now, I love this background, but I want it to be a little bit more subtle. So I'm going to add a piece of vellum over the top. So again, this is a 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And before we do that, I'll show you, because we don't want to we don't want the adhesive to show through, so we're going to kind of position it in a certain way to make sure that it's hidden. So we're going to start with the sentiment layer here. This is a 3 3/4 by 2 inch piece, and we'll stamp that with the last sentiment from the stamp set that we haven't used yet. Congratulations. And that's in just jade. So this is going to go right over the top here. So I'm going to put this to the side so I kind of have an idea of where that is going to lay. And I only want to put the seal on the vellum where it's going to be underneath that sentiment. So then I'll flip it over, line it up. And you can't even see it very much. It makes the stamps a little bit darker, makes the ink a little bit darker right where your adhesive is, but it's really not very noticeable, honestly. And then this will go over the top. But before we do that, we're going to tie some Just Jade gingham around the top. That will also keep this top layer in place, that vellum in place a little bit better. And this ribbon is from the Flowers for Every Season ribbon pack. I just love gingham. So cute. We'll add that. All right. Okay, that looks good. Let's add this to our card front. You'll want to make sure that you use an adhesive that's very secure since you have some ribbon. You don't want that popping up. The seal works great. The Seal Plus would work even better. Then we're going to add this to the card front with seal. Up. I'm out. Let's see if we have another one. I do. Have another one ready to go. And then we'll add this. And I love how this it kind of hangs off the edge just a little tiny bit, a little interest there. And then I've already pre-die cut this beautiful piece that we're going to add to it. And this is in Misty Moonlight, very intricate. It ran really well through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. There wasn't a lot of trouble getting all of the pieces out. When I send it to you with your kit, you will have to poke out those pieces. I have a piercing tool, which they no longer sell, but there's also the Take Your Pick tool, has a nice piercing point that you can use, or a toothpick also works to get those things out. But I'm sure you'll have some that you'll need to kind of get out They won't, I'm not going to pick them all out for you. Sorry. Too many kits. But you guys can do that, and it won't take much effort to get them out because they really are, they're cut very nicely. So I'm just using a little bit of liquid glue here on some of the larger areas. If I was taking more time, I would have a little silicone mat, craft mat with a little blob of this glue there, and I would use some sponge, use a sponge to put it on, and that's the best way to do it, so you don't have little blobs that kind of gush out of the side, but we're just doing it fast. So a little bit here and there, and then I'm going to add this right over the top. So you can see why I wanted to do the vellum. Just kind of makes the background a little less bold, so it's not competing with this beautiful floral focal point. And then we'll finish up this one, not with sparkle, but with pearls. So let's add just a few pearls. I like to float little pearls around. So there we go. That is our final card. A little bit different than the other ones, but I definitely wanted to show you how beautiful these dies are. Just really gorgeous. And like I said, there's other ones here too that have some flowers that you can die cut as well. So you could really make a beautiful bouquet, some leaves that go with it. Really lots of nice options that you can try. All right, the last Too Cool version. A little different than even this one. I wanted to do some stamping again on the background, but this time I used that two-step fill images to just kind of add some color and create a little bouquet of flowers for the background. So I added the larger ones in Pale Papaya, then Fresh Freesia for the next size down. The smaller ones are in Flirty Flamingo, and then the smallest ones with the double flowers are in Stamped Off Misty Moonlight. I put that vellum over the top again, and I did have to put some adhesive behind here, but you can't see it. If you put just a little bit like right on the flowers, then you really can't see that very well. It's layered on Misty Moonlight. I added from that same Flowers for Every Season trim pack. You can get the baker's twine with Misty Moonlight white and a little silver running through it. Sorry about that. I've been trying to not cough, but it's been sitting there waiting. Anyway, and I also used another piece of Designer Series paper for the background just to kind of offset that floral, and the thanks image with a little banner cut. So a little bit different, but the same basic design, and you will get this one as part of your 10 card kit and this one as part of your 5 card kit. Or you'll get both as part of the 10. All right, let's bring all the cards out here again. Remember, to get the free class kit, you need to place a $35 order using the host code. That will get you all 5 cards that I demonstrated today. And then with a $75 order, you're going to get all 10 cards that I shared with you today. So all of the Too Cool versions as well. So here's our 5 card version. And then we'll add in some swap cards that I do need to figure out who made that. It's driving me crazy. I can't remember. But you'll get all of these as well. I think this is the last one. So I have lots of green ones for the Too Cool version. So there we go. All right. It's hard to fit them all in the picture, but you'll get all the supplies. Again, everything will be pre-cut, pre-embossed. I do want to make sure that you know that anything that is stamped and then colored and die cut, I don't do the die cutting ahead of time. It's just too difficult to do a stamp on a die cut piece when you have to do that, you know, kind of coloring. So I'll give you the paper to do that, but you will need to either have the dies or be ready to hand cut those for all of the two-step stamping and the Stampin' Blends coloring. So just so that you know that. I think that's it. Remember to use the host code FCPF47FQ. And also remember, if you're going to be placing an order that is at least $150, do not use the host code. At $150 level, you'll start earning Stampin' Reward Dollars, and I want you to be able to spend those on product of your choice for your order. So at $150, don't use the code. I will automatically send you the 10 card class kit, so no need to worry about that. Let me give you the dates that these are available, so you can earn these class kits between now and June 30th, so the end of the month. And then I will be sending them out on July 6th, a day late because of the holiday, but we'll get that in the mail July 6th, and then you'll be able to play with this beautiful, beautiful suite. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the cards. Hope you enjoy making them at home if you earn the kit. And I really, really appreciate spending time with you. If you have any questions, you can always find me over at my website, toocoolstamping.com. And I also wanted to add, I will be taking a vacation next week, staycation, not going anywhere special, but I am going to take next week off. So do not plan on a live class for next week, but we'll follow it up the following week, the 8th, I think, July 8th. We'll be back with another class. It might possibly be a video. I'm not sure. It may not be a live class, but either way, there will be a class that you can enjoy. So I look forward to seeing you then. All right, that wraps it up for today. Thanks again. This is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. Bye-bye.